You can never have enough hooks, right?
225, 225, 225, 225,
I may be cluttered up, but I am not that cluttered up. All right, it is noon now. I've been here since about 8:30, and the vehicle is loaded with stuff, and they haven't even gotten to the stuff outside. There's a few things I'd like to get, but I've spent most of my money. So I'm gonna go get something to eat, and then I'm gonna come back, and if it's still around, I will probably see what little remaining money I have, because my deal is I only spend the cash that I've got them. I don't even think they take credit cards here, so, but you can see it's full of stuff. And I may have made a few stupid, foolish purchases early on thinking I was going to get a good deal, but may not have. But I got so much stuff for what I've spent that I think it's going to work out. And I'm getting stuff specifically that I need for this building project. You know, I got a whole bunch of electrical stuff, Romex, outlets, switches, that kind of stuff, really, really cheap. I'll take a look later. Back from lunch, going to round 2. They have it cut out here. I really want to get that TI 994 computer. I'm sure some people have eBayed it and seen it being listed for like 75 bucks, but I don't know what they really sell for, but if I can get it for a cheap deal, I want it for my vintage computer collection. Like, I need more stuff, I know. I'm hoping that I'm at an advantage because I've gone to eat lunch and all these people might be hungry. They might be leaving, we'll see. Still going on. All right, they're still auctioning things off, but I got what I wanted, the computer, for $6. Now I have to figure out how to get this PVC into the vehicle. That's going to be tough. All right, back from the auction. I got a bunch of crap that just was bundled with other stuff that I didn't really want, like a box of old knives. What I'm going to do with this, some of these are really, really old. Some of them are handmade, you can tell too. But I don't see anything here that looks particularly valuable. But look at this thing. Pretty neat, but here's a nice little fish fillet. I'll probably just drop this off over at the local thrift store. Here's some old bottles. E&B beer. I have no idea if any of this is valuable. Some people collect these old bottles, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. All kinds of stuff. I'm going to get all this stuff unloaded and then kind of do a quick inventory. All right, so I'm back from the auction, and of course I've got other things happening that are interfering with my ability to go over all this. It seems like when things break down, a lot of stuff breaks down, so I've got computer problems with other stuff I have to deal with. But let's take a look at what I did pick up. I spent quite a bit of money, probably a bit over $200 and something, but I think I got some good stuff. I did get this bandsaw, this thing with a motor. It's really, really old. I think it could be fixed up and restored, but I may not even bother with it. The motor on it, I think, though, is pretty valuable. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I think I only paid $10 for it. But what I really wanted was the cart it was on, this cart. So that was worth $10. I paid $30 for this table saw, and I don't know how good it is. This thing is stripped down here. I'm going to plug it in just to see if it works. If it does, it'll be worth cleaning up. And I got a lot of other stuff. I'm going to be doing a bunch more wiring. This is the motor that came with the bandsaw. It's a really nice old heavy-duty motor, and I assume this probably does work. I'll have to look at the wiring here, but these old motors usually just last forever. Some conduit, some electrical cable. That's going to be, you know, if I can get this stuff cheaper than what I would pay for it. Got this stuff, which is, I think, 15 or 20 amp cable that can be buried. I got some stuff here I'm probably just going to drop off at the local thrift. and donate to them. And then lots of these little boxes of things, you know, sometimes it's like they'll be like nobody will bid and they'll be like, you know, how much for all this? And you can pay like $2 and you'll just get a whole stack of these boxes of things. And, you know, like just a box of these drywall screws is worth the money. And so all the rest of the stuff is basically lanyap. I don't really know. Look at this old school magnet. That's pretty neat. I got some more electrical stuff because I'm going to be needing a lot of electrical stuff. So these are outdoor wall covers. I think I may have paid $8 for this entire box. I think these things are, you know, they're pretty pricey when you start adding them all up. So switches and outlets and things like this. And in my opinion, some of these older ones I actually think are better made than the newer stuff. Not that I think this is necessarily that old, but and again, Romex, you know, short runs of it, that's very useful. And then this stuff here, I don't even really know what was all in this box, but it was all just kind of extra stuff. So, you know, a little bit of Romex like this probably cost $5, $6, $7, maybe even more. Some miscellaneous little wires and stuff. Some of the stuff I can use, some of the stuff probably not, but it all just came in. Look at that. It's a big old ground wire. Too bad it's not longer. Let's take a look at what else we got. Oh, I picked up a fan. I was needing another fan. I think I paid $10 for that, or maybe $8, and I think that's not a bad deal for that. So all kinds of doohickeys, like a whole bag of lag bolts. This is some interesting threaded pieces. I don't know what they are, but they're kind of nice. Whole thing of bolts. I've got a couple of small power tools. These I'm going to use for my yard sale. See, I've got multiples of these. If I sell them for $2 or $3 a piece, I'll make money on them. A whole big thing of clamps there. Yeah, just lots and lots of little miscellaneous things that are sometimes just fun to dig through. You never know what you're gonna find here. So here's another box. It's just all kinds of like miscellaneous new parts. Wire nuts, you know. Here's some conduit, little D-rings, some anchor bolts, some steel nipples. Not sure what those would be used for. Is it for air things? All kinds of interesting little hinges, cabinetry maybe. Look, hinges, a flare nut. So what I'll do is I'll go through all of my stuff, and I've got, you know, drywall, a box of drywall stuff, a box of electrical connectors. Here's some crimp terminals, little wood screws, and I'll try to categorize everything because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and it's always nice to have parts, you know, anchors and grease fittings and a little bit of everything. You know, I probably paid $6 for this entire box, and if I had to buy 2 things that came from here, look at this. This is a whole thing of stainless steel screws. Pretty nice. Yeah, there's all kinds of interesting things in here. Here's a whole box of hooks. You know, you can never have enough hooks, right? So it's kind of nice to be able to have all of this stuff, and then you get down in here and who knows what other stuff is here. But this is almost all brand new stuff. Look, here's all these electrical crimp things. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, and this could be fun just going through and getting it organized. And I've got multiple boxes like this where there's just tons and tons of like brand new parts. It's like a little hardware store. And here's this cute little toolbox. This was just bundled in with a bunch. Look, it's full of bits. drill bits, little clamps. I got this for probably less than $1. Hex keys. Look at that old light switch. Look at that oldie. They don't make them like that anymore. Lots and lots of drill bits. Look at this. Oh, a little screw-in electrical socket outlet. Just, I'm never going to run out of drill bits now. Some interesting ones. Look at that. Some kind of a masonry bit. Heavy duty. Oh, some kind of magnifying thing with a little stand. What do we got here? It says socket wrench set Craftsman, but I don't think there's anything in it. It's empty. Maybe the socket wrench stuff is just bouncing around everywhere else. Oh, these are nice. These little bits that'll help remove screws. What do we got here? Leather preservative. That cost $11. I wonder if it's still good. These are hooks, more Allen wrenches, hex keys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and enjoying the video series and supporting me thus far by subscribing and clicking like and all of that. And if you want to catch me on TikTok, sometimes I have previews of what I'm working on that I haven't published lately. That's at TikTok/@WisdomStudio. And if you're on Facebook, look up the group Vintage Cast Iron Hunting, Restoration, Identification, and Sales. And until next time.